Hey everyone, I'm back again, and as usual, I'm very grateful for all of you guys who are choosing to tune in today. And today it's going to be a message taking a little bit of a different twist. So for all of you guys who want to reach your potential in all areas of your life, maybe you've got some cool goals. Maybe you're looking to have some really good goals in your life, or maybe you're someone like most of us who can get stuck in this fear of, if I go for this one thing, what's it going to cost me in another realm of my life? So that's really what I'm going to be diving into with you guys. So what I'd love to hear from you as we jump into today's topic is I'd love to hear from you. What is your biggest goal right now? What are you most inspired by? And then basically through the conversation that we're going to have, we might be able to help you to get awareness around, you know, what you have as maybe a belief underneath that like I can't have it all, right? I can only have this or this, but I can't have either. And basically today's conversation is all about how to have it all right? And the basic theme as to how we can have it all in our lives that I'm going to unpack for you guys today is stop seeing your desires in life as mutually exclusive, right? You can either have this or you can have that, and begin seeing them as inherently inclusive. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to propel yourself forward and actually achieve those desires and create them in your life if you are all inclusive in all areas of your life. And I'm going to unpack why that might be. But basically, many people go throughout their lives setting maybe some goals, but then they falsely believe that they can't have, all of it together, right? Like they can't have success and a loving relationship, or they can't have, a ton of money and abundance and live a really spiritual life. And so what happens is, whether we're conscious of it or not, we have these kind of beliefs kind of going on under the surface. And I'm going to, as always, share one of mine, and also some of the main ones that I see with people that I work with, and friends and family and everybody that is close to me as well, in the hope that you can notice yourself in these common themes. But I'd love to hear from you guys, like I said. So let me know, what are you most inspired to create in your life right now? What's your biggest desire? And you might want to look at all the different areas of life and pick one area of life that you're most focused on right now. But basically, what I want to introduce you guys to, if you haven't kind of thought about it this way, is that if you channel all of your attention towards one area of your life, we've got several, right? And so this is why we can see people be really highly successful in a particular area. Let's take somebody who's really successful in their business, right? And then we can see that person is highly successful over there. They're directing a lot of energy and attention and focus and clarity over in that realm. But simultaneously, they have a void in their, say, intimate relationship. And that's really suffering, right? And so a lot of these people who have this kind of one-sidedness do have an underlying belief that, I can't have it all, right? I can't be highly successful in my business and have a deeply intimate, passionate relationship because I've only got so much energy. Now, here's where I want to wake us all up, because that's very logical. That's very easy to think about. Okay, well, if I've only got this set amount of attention to be able to direct in any which way, then yeah, of course, where I spend my most time is where I'm going to create the success. And automatically, because of cost of specialization, right? Like I'm putting all my attention over here and I'm specializing over here. The cost of specialization is that I just won't be able to direct my energy to the degree over here. And therefore I will have like success over here and lack over here. But I want us to think more intelligently about this and get beyond trying to find balance, right? Because that's very difficult, right? When you have the mindset of creating balance, meaning, okay, I'm going to direct half my energy here and half my energy here, and then something calls me over here, and then that becomes more important, and then that automatically comes down over here, and we're constantly trying to like level the playing field, instead of realizing that your greatest fuel source in your life comes from your authentic inspiration. And I'm going to unpack all of that in a second. But basically, we also want to realize that your greatest, ability to get what you want and have it all in all areas of your life is not in balance. That's still separating everything and trying to like create this, get everything back into equilibrium. But that takes its energy, just focus like that. Instead, we want to focus on the word integration. So your fuel source coming from authentically being inspired by things means that if you're getting that level of clarity over what am I most inspired by, not filtering it through anybody else, but for you as an individual, and maybe looking at the different areas of your life, right? And going, okay, what is it that I want in my business? What is it that I want in that career path, right? What is it that I want in my intimate relationship? What is it that I want in my family relationships, my friendships? What is it that I want in terms of my life quality? Like, how do I want to be living my life? What is it that I want in the realm of money? What is it that I want in the realm of my spiritual life, and having purpose and meaning in my life? What is it that I want with my physical health and my fitness? Like all these different areas of life, to be able to go into them and get clarity and get inspired from an authentic place, not from what you think other people might want from you, but genuinely from this inner place that just what really moves you, right? Really gets you into a state of inspiration where you take the lid off and you really tap into that, fuel source that can only be generated from authentic inspiration. Then what you do is, once you have that level of clarity, instead of going, well, that's never going to happen, right? Because I have this deep-seated belief that, I can't be, I can't have a spiritual life and have the level of money that I'd be inspired to have, because, well, they're at odds with each other, right? That's a very separate, that's a mutually exclusive kind of way of looking at your life. And when we have that kind of mentality, that's exactly what we're going to create, right? We're going to create either a life that's devoid of spirituality and meaning and purpose and contribution, and it's going to be more focused on how much money I'm generating and making and growing that, or vice versa, right? A very spiritual life with no money, right? And we can look at it that way, but that's not how you get everything that you want and reach your potential at the highest capacity. What we need to do is go, all right, these are my, two, most authentically inspired visions in these different areas. Now I'm going to be intelligently integrative, right? I'm going to look at how is it that my spiritual life and my vision in this area would be greatly enhanced if I met my most inspired vision for money, right? Like, how could that money be channeled towards me reaching higher levels of, say, contribution in a really meaningful way, right? And how would my my ability to increase how much I earn be greatly increased if I reached my degree, my desires in my spiritual realm? Right? Like maybe I'm adding so much value from the heart that I'm generating more money naturally, right? So you can be intelligent about these areas. They are not mutually exclusive. They are absolutely inherently inclusive or mutually inclusive, right? And if you think about your greatest fuel source being not the energy that you get every day, right? But actually, not just physical energy, but actually knowing that when you tap into and start to progress towards what most authentically inspires you, that is where you tap into this, what seems to be an unlimited fuel source, right? So if you are dreaming big in each area of your life, tapping into what authentically inspires and moves you at the highest capacity, and you're moving towards the attainment of those desires in your life, right? that is what gives you more fuel, right, than you could have if you just focused on one area and then had this energy drain over here that was costing you because you're trying to like just fix it up, right? Like somebody who's successful in business and just has these constant problems in their intimate life, right? It's a big drain. So what we're trying to do is capitalize on all the energy possible, and how you increase that is by taking the lid off your dreams and your desires, getting real clarity from that authentically inspired place, and moving the needle forward in all of those areas. And as you move the needle forward in this area, you can see how it's impacting and moving you forward in this other area. All right, so nothing is mutually exclusive, everything is mutually inclusive, right? The higher you go in authentic inspiration in this area and be intelligently integrative, meaning you see the connection points as to how your increase in this area directly influences your ability to increase this area, you will have the energy to absolutely have it all. And what's better than just having it all is all of that stuff is clearly defined from your most authentically inspired way. All right, so and I want to just mention like a couple of key ones. Like, I know in my personal life I've had these couple of challenges, and both of them seem to be particularly in the realm of intimate relationship. And so a couple of my challenges have been having friends and an intimate partner, because in the past I've been so involved in my intimate relationship, right? Like I've had codependent relationships big time, right? I've also kind of had a bit of growth since then, right? So, but I can definitely see this pattern and this tendency of mine. And what it was basically, can I have like great quality friendships and a great quality intimate relationship? And for some reason in my past, I've created relationships with people that didn't like each other. Like I'd have very close relationships with them, but they'd almost be maybe jealous of one another. I've had that in my intimate relationship and having, say, a best friend. And that's kind of created this kind of underlying belief, it did, unconscious belief for me that, oh, I can't have both, right? Like I've got to give my all in one direction and I can't have both, right? And so the work that I've had to do in particular with that is I've had to go, how specifically does me having high quality friendships beautifully impact and increase my ability to get all that I want in my intimate relationship? How does that benefit my intimate relationship, and vice versa? How does my intimate relationship and the time and energy that I spend there greatly impact and benefit my friendships? All right. And another one for me was in love versus freedom, right? I was trying to find a way of going, how can I have an intimate relationship and experience freedom? And basically that came from my perception of, say, past relationships feeling kind of controlled and kind of a bit rigid, and feeling like when I got out of them, it was just a huge sense of relief, right? It was just a huge sense of, oh my gosh, like I feel so free, like I love life, like outside of a relationship. And I had, based on my experience and my perception and my focus, I created an unconscious belief. I don't think I can have love and freedom, right? And so I've had to do the work on what I'm talking to you guys about today and go, how specifically can I have higher levels of freedom, all of what I desire in that area of freedom and liberation, and have a really deep, intimate relationship? And I can't even believe now that I thought that those two were mutually exclusive, right? In actual fact, I've gotten to a point in my life where I feel like my highest sense of freedom would come in an intimate relationship, albeit in the right intimate relationship, right? And I know now, upon reflection of my experiences, that basically, the reason why I felt freedom couldn't exist in loving relationship was because I wasn't quite ready for that. Like I wasn't in the right relationship, and I wasn't yet the person that I needed to be in order to have the courage and the self-love and self-honoring and everything, right? All the growth that I've had to be able to liberate myself fully in an intimate relationship. And I see for a lot of men, so many men that I have been clients and in my personal life have had this struggle with, like, I can't be successful and have loads of money and have an awesome career path and have a really close intimate relationship, right? If I have an intimate partner, that's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me time away from my business and what I'm looking to create and all that stuff, right? And so that's the natural scarcity mindset of having that mutually exclusive desires. But basically, you need to do the research, right? Like when I look at and study the most empowered men, the most successful and fulfilled men in this world, I see them have an incredible intimate relationship, right? And so we can open our minds up to that way of being as well, right? And we can go, oh, okay, I get it. I've had this unconscious tug of war between these two things. I've been having a scarcity mindset. I've been trapped in mutual exclusivity instead of being inclusive about it, right? Mutual inclusivity. And I haven't been intelligently integrative by way of going, how directly would an intimate relationship enhance my ability to be the most successful and financially free in my life? And vice versa. How does my success in my business and following what I'm passionate about directly benefit and influence my highest vision for relationship, right? And when you start to look at your desires in life with clarity and intelligently be integrative with how they are directly benefiting one another, this is how you have it all right? So, and we all know the health ones as well. Like a lot of people think, oh, because they connect in a way, say they have a friendship, group of friends. And the way that group of friends always goes out and connects, is to go and eat really bad food and drink a lot of alcohol or take drugs and, all this stuff that, it's like not allowing them to move forward in their health and fitness goals, for instance. But instead, what we need to do is not sacrifice our health and fitness based on, well, I want my connections with my friends and that's just how we connect. No. Be intelligently integrative. What is your highest vision for those friendships, right? What's the depth of connection that you want to have with them? What's the highest vision for health and fitness? All right, how do these two integrate? And I know in my own personal life, I transitioned, I either lost friendships or I transitioned those friendships out of, things that we were doing that were unhealthy and detrimental to health to actually, hey, let's go to the gym together, or let's go do something fun in nature together, right? Or let's go, whatever it was, right? That would allow me to have the highest level of friendship with my health and fitness being integrated with that. It's like I'm, killing two birds with one stone, right? That's the kind of mentality that you want to have. How does it all integrate? Not at the expense of, but how does it directly benefit so that you can propel yourself forward? And like I said, you need to tap into your authentic inspiration as to what you're most inspired by in your life in every area with clarity, without filter, so that you can ultimately then be intelligently integrative and have it all. All right, that is my message for you guys today. So I definitely want to check in. I would absolutely love to hear from you. So drop me a comment. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. Have you got any words of wisdom or questions or anything that you'd love to share? Because I'd love to get to connect with you now. So I have got Huss in the house. So good to see you. And Bill's here. Awesome. And Darren and Dahanjay. Good to have you here. And Indy, hello to you, beautiful. And Daryl from the Great White North, always great to have you, my friend. And Indy, I'm loving that you are finding something exactly on point with how you see the world as well here. And Mark, thanks for articulating this. It's exactly what I've been starting to experience as I rebuild my own life. Boom. I absolutely love hearing that, Mark. And I'm really grateful that this is resonating with you and you're already generating the benefits of, being more intelligent about how we look at our lives and tapping into what authentically inspires us and being intelligent about how those things are not mutually exclusive. They're actually, how do we get to an integrative approach? Remember? Not about balance. Balance presupposes one comes at the expense of the other, right? You're trying to just put 50% here and 50% here. How about put 100% in all areas and they're all simultaneously integrative and allowing you to expand? How you looking after your health makes your intimate relationship more juicy, right? Or you looking after, your money and your finances allows you to channel it in really meaningful realms that up levels your ability to be connected to something bigger than just yourself and contributing at higher levels in your spiritual life, right? You're going to look at it this way so that you can see how everything that you're doing is like a dynamic system that is always enhancing and propelling you forward towards those greatest authentically inspired desires. So I love that, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing and showing up today. And Bill, hello, health has to come first. Yeah, I think this has been an interesting one to me, right? Because I've had health be my top value, and it's kind of like this, right? I think that there's no wrong answers and no particular right answers, but you want to have it all. And when you have an integrative approach, right? Like when you know that, meeting your financial goals is actually going to be able to, it's going to enable you to increase your health and move towards your desires. Say you're earning more money, now I can go and buy organic, now I can invest in a personal trainer, whatever it is, right? When you take that integrative approach, it almost becomes like it's not a hierarchy, but it's like, it's a system, like a dynamic system at play, right? And so, yeah, I totally agree. Health has to be up there, because what would you do if you don't have the vehicle of health, right? This vehicle that you're using that moves you forward to achieving everything, all of those desires. So totally love it, Bill, as usual. And why are we, Dehanjay, good to have you here, my friend. And why are we suffering in jealousy, I think you're saying? Okay, great question. I actually look at jealousy as being it's kind of like if you feel jealous about somebody or something, what it's really doing is alerting you to your untapped potential. All right, what is it within that person or within maybe what they're achieving or whatever it is that you can utilize that feeling of jealousy to alert you to parts of yourself that you're not owning, alert you to parts of yourself that you really value and you could step forward in. So when you have that kind of perspective on that feeling of jealousy, it no longer becomes this like horrible feeling that people have, right? Like self-deflating feeling. Instead, it's like a clarity, a sense of clarity. It's like an aha moment of how you haven't been on your most authentically inspired path, right? And how you could then shift that energy to more of an aspirational energy and more of a driver, right? Another fuel source to go, that's shining light on some untapped potential for me that would be meaningful for me to create in my life. So if you want to share some more ideas in terms of where that jealousy is coming from, because sometimes that might be connected to relationship, right? And the way I look at that in jealousy in relationship is, what is it? Say you're in a relationship and say your partner's connecting with somebody of, the opposite sex, right? And then you find yourself getting jealous. It's like, what is it that you're perceiving in that other person, or what's missing in the dynamic of your relationship that is alerting you to a huge pathway of growth in terms of self-love, self-honoring, self-respect, and growth that you want to have, and also the growth of your relationship. Like maybe it's highlighting for the benefit of something that might be a little bit missing, right? Are they, what are you jealous of is the thing that you want to identify. So hope that is of value to you guys. I love your questions. I love just coming up with things on the fly with you guys. So always fun for me. And Daryl, oh, another quote. I love it. No, it's going to be good. True confidence, power. It's silent. It's sexy. It gives you the power to ignore the opinions of others and feel your own beliefs. By Tim S. Grover. I love that, Daryl. Always grateful for you, my friend. And yeah, good work. Definitely. And that's the whole idea behind authentic inspiration. Authentic inspiration is this ability to turn up the voice in the internal world, that internal conviction of what really inspires you without filter or judgment in the external world, because the more fuel you get from that internal, authentic inspiration, the louder the voice comes from within and the quieter the voices are on the external, because they just don't have their same weight or bearing anymore, because you're living from the inside out rather than the outside in. All right, so I love that, Daryl. Awesome share. And Bill, after that, too much to type. Oh gosh, I don't know what you're exactly referring to then, because you probably commented while I was on some rant then. So let me know a little bit more about what you mean, Bill. I love having you here as usual. And Dehandre, health and people always change in life, but mind is the same. So change our mind. I love that. Yeah, like we've got to, if we want to see the world differently, as we know, it starts in here. Like, what are we focusing on? And that creates our entire experience of life. We've got these lenses, right? Our lenses of our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our past experiences, all of that stuff that we can shift and change if we want to experience life better. And it's funny because one of the books I'm reading at the moment is The Happiest Man on Earth by, I've just forgotten his name. You'd know him, Jackal, gosh, I've forgotten his last name. But anyway, on the back of that book, I just noticed actually this morning, because I read it when I get into bed and I just put it on my nightstand. And on the back of it, it says something like, life can be beautiful and it's your choice to make it so. It's something like that. And it's so powerful, like just looking at the world that way, like you're expressing here, Dehanjay, that it's up to you how you experience the world, and stop trying to change the external, right? Like you're saying, is to focus on the internal, get authentically inspired and align fully with that. And I'm telling you, when you tap into that fuel source, the courage that you need to break through, all the things that you would never think were even possible to you when you're living for the outside world, that becomes a reality that you get to experience. It's unbelievable. So I love your share there. And Indy, loving that this is exactly on point for you, and much love to you as well. And Vanessa, thank you for your message today. So valuable. I'm grateful to hear that, beautiful soul. Awesome. And Indy, you are so welcome. And Tim, Eddie, Jackal, that's it. Thank you so much. Oh, my team is in the house again. I rely on you guys to keep me, my brain freezes sometimes. So thank you so much, Tim. You are so appreciated. So that's really my message for you guys today. And I hope so much that you sit down with yourself and you identify what are the key areas of life. What do you see them as? What are those areas? And then take the time to take the lid off, right? Because if you're stuck in a mutually exclusive mindset, I guarantee you, your vision is just too small, right? We need to take the lid off. We need to get you tapped into that authentic inspiration. Envision what your ideal would be in each of those areas. And then, as I've outlined for you guys, become intelligently integrative. How specifically does you attaining your most authentically inspired vision in this area, say of health, greatly benefit your ability to tap into and attain the desires that you have in intimate relationship, and go through all of them. And that sounds like a lot of work, but you know what's a lot more work? Living a life that isn't true to who you are and not fulfilling, right? That's a lot of energy. that's a big energy drain. So how about we focus on having it all and being intelligently integrative and taking the lid off and tapping into that authentic inspiration. All right, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up live today and contributing to the conversation. You are deeply appreciated. And I always get so much energy from you guys, and all of you guys who are in the Limitless Potential Academy, I'm going to see you in 15 minutes from now. So I can't wait to dive in and check in with you guys on our Zoom call. If you want to be a part of that, the best time would be to check in with me right now. So shoot me a message and you can come and join us on our live Zoom call happening in 15 minutes from now. So much love for each and every one of you guys. And go out there and live authentically. Tap into that authentic inspiration. Take the lid off and stop filtering through anybody in your external world. All right? And then, go out there and love deeply. Don't just settle for mediocrity. All right? Go the depths of love that's available to you and contribute meaningfully and purposefully. What are you authentically inspired by? How are you growing yourself? And how can your own self-actualization actually enhance other people's lives? All right? And make your life that much more fulfilling because you felt like, you had a real impact, right? That your life is definitely in alignment with the value of your heartbeats. All right, much love to you, Indy, and all the rest of you guys. I'm signing off. I'm sending you all of my love, and I will see you tomorrow. Much love.